Okay, guys, so we got over to Kleiner's drive shafts over in Nashville this morning. Dropped the shafts off. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do it today. They got to order some parts for it to. They're going to basically just rebuild the shafts with new slip joints in it. So he's got to order that this morning. They'll be in tomorrow mid-morning. He told me as soon as he gets them in, he's going to slap them all together and get it all done for me. In the meantime, I got back to the shop to drop off the oil for the rear end. Guys are working on the rear end right now, getting the old one out and slapping the new one in today. They should be done with that here this afternoon, I'd say. But that one little issue I got to deal with, I'm basically just running around for parts on this whole deal rather than doing it myself. I can do it here at the house, but I just don't want to. It's the weather. It's sunny right now, but to talk about rain later on today and rain all weekend, I think. So I just didn't want to mess with doing it myself. But this yoke, what we have is an issue with the yoke. It's got a wear ring on it. The yoke rests right on the seal on the input shaft of the rear end, and it's got a wear ring on the yoke itself. I'll show you here in a minute. That is getting kind of pitted, and so what the concern is that if we use this same yoke, the yoke's fine, but the wear ring is. If we use the old wear ring, that it might, the seal might leak after some time. So now I gotta see if I can track down a wear ring this afternoon, perhaps get it tomorrow. They'll probably have to order it too, who knows. That's the trouble you get into when you start working on a semi-truck. If you ain't got all the parts, you gotta order stuff, then you're sitting for a while. But I wanna show you this wear ring on this yoke right quick. So this is the yoke. You can see right here is the splines that go over the input shaft on the power divider. And then this thing right here is more like just a dust ring. This big ring spins around. That's like a dust cap, essentially. And then this right here, you can see this part right here that's pitted is pressed onto the yoke itself. Well, it's not supposed to be pitted like that. It's supposed to be fairly smooth, polished up. My mechanic told me, he said he could probably try and polish it up, and it might be okay, and it might not. So my thinking is, this many miles on this truck, with this yoke, the yoke's still good, but I'd rather just go ahead and see if we can find us another wear ring. I'll have to take a torch and heat this up to get that wear ring off, and then press a new one on there. So that's my task for today. See if I can locate another wear ring for the yoke. And it'll probably be tomorrow before I get it, I don't know. And then tomorrow, I'd say probably after lunch, they'll have the rear end done today as far as getting it in. And then tomorrow afternoon, should be able to have the shafts done. We can run back over to Nashville to Kleiner's, go pick those up. So that's what we're doing, guys. Hey, and then I got one other little project I want to do today, this afternoon, before it starts raining, is that my trailer, it's a good flatbed trailer. It's an older trailer, but it's an all aluminum trailer, and it's in good shape. I just put a new set of tires on it, but the reflective tape is wore off on the sides in good many areas. And while I was over at Nashville this morning, I bought myself this roll of reflective tape, and then rather than try and just take one single piece and go down the full length of the trailer on either side, what I'm going to do is take my scissors and I'm going to cut these in sections, and then I'll go back over to the shop here in a little while and scrape the old tape off the trailer and then put this new tape on the trailer. That way we can make the DOT feel all warm and fuzzy inside about me having new reflective tape. Alright, so we're out here at the trailer, out here at the shop, and as you can see, this reflective tape has gotten where it's awful wore out, it's awful faded and whatnot, all the way down the side of the trailer. I started a few years ago there towards the back, but I never did finish up the sides, so I think I'm just going to go down each side and scrape it off and redo it. Yeah, I've had this little card in the box with the tape. Shows the code right here, the federal code. And so essentially you have to have tape covering each side of the trailer, at least 50% on each side of the trailer. So I'm going to do an overkill. Most people do just 100% of the side rather than 50% of it, but 50% is minimum. So that's what we're going to get into. Well, we worked for about 2.5 hours this afternoon on the trailer, putting the reflective tape on the sides. And boy, was it hot out there. I went over and ate lunch at Patty's before I went back over to the shop because it was raining. And then, once I got done eating lunch, it quit raining. So I went on over to the shop and did that. So I got the left side of the trailer all cleaned up and the reflective tape down that side, and then I got the rear of the trailer done up in the reflective tape, and then the rear of the headboard reflective tape on that. And then I got kind of tired. Worked about 2.5 hours, like I said. So I think tomorrow morning I'll get up and go to the shop and finish up the right side. So that's done. And then I would say probably around noonish or so, maybe just after lunch, I have to run over to Kleiners and pick up the shafts. The guys did get the new rear end in the truck today, so pretty much all we got to do now as far as finishing up the truck is just get the shafts and put those in. It's a done deal. Changing the rear end out is a pretty simple job. It's not difficult at all. Like I said, I could have done the job myself. It's just that I hate to admit it, as I get a little older, I have a little harder time crawling under that truck. And the guys are younger than me, and so they can handle it easier than I can. So it's much easier for me just to pay those guys to do the work that I used to do and still can do, but don't want to do. So we had a pretty easy day today. We're here at the house now. I'm just going to sit back and have a relaxing evening here at home. Wish you all a blessed day, and be sure and if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button and drop a comment if you want. And so tomorrow we'll do a little more video and finishing up everything on the truck. Till then, stay tuned for another episode of Tennessee Trucker.